ones that
you find the balance
keep it going.
right. You generally can.
You have to find it, though, yes.
You do got to find it. It's not easy, but you can.
All right, we got to move in. We got to move on. We got a new topic on here called Hot Topics. We're not going to spend the rest of the show on this because we still have Knicks picks. We still have diversity with Delilah and one last word. Okay? Right. I'm not just saying this to my two co-hosts. I'm saying this to y'all in the comments.
Yeah.
I have a feeling some of y'all might have come for this period right now. We're on a topic called Hot Topics. And ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing hotter than what's going on in Vegas right now.
Ooh, doggy.
Oh, Mr. Gruden resigns after racist comments surfaced from past emails that
not just racist, homophobic, misogynistic, everything.
Look, incidentally, my owner was involved with. So let's see if hopefully we can get some collateral. Let's couple him in there with get him out of there.
Let me tell you, like it's and I know everybody's like, oh, that's from 10 years ago, and people grow. I'm like, do they though? Like some do. I'm not saying there can't be, but
I'm glad you brought that up, Delilah, because again, I really quickly I knew this was going to come up, so I only wanted to make because and again, I'm not defending John Gruden. I don't know him. This isn't really about him. This is an overall in terms of this kind of thing that you've seen happen. Because, I think back to a time when I was a teenage boy. And again, I know you're saying I was a teenager, you can justify whatever. But as a teenage boy, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm 48 years old now. I was a teenager 30 years ago. I said, I myself was a bit homophobic as a teenager. And racist comments were not something that I shied away from when given the opportunity. And the only reason I'm telling you guys that is because I feel like this is one of those things that's a very sensitive issue for people. And at some point in your life, maybe you've had this sort of thing happen where you've said something that you regret or you've done something that you regret. And, I'm lucky that, nobody cares who I am in that sense, that you would bring up something I did 15, 20 years ago and use it against me now in my professional career. I'm just saying, like I'm in this scope of things, I'm a nobody. This guy's the head coach of a major franchise, so you're going to take his email. And again, right, I don't know exactly what was said. I got the gist of it. And you're right. Is it right? No, it's not right. It's absolutely wrong. And I know that the things that I said as a teenage boy and some of the things I did as a teenage boy were not right either. But you have to accept not accept, but you have to take the responsibility for those things and realize that you have, there was things in my life that helped me to change my attitude and to help me change the way I thought about certain things that gets me to the point where I am now, where I can say without a doubt, yeah, this stuff is terrible. This stuff is horrendous, but I don't want to seem disingenuous by pretending like I didn't do similar things. I maybe not to this degree, but again, and I don't want to say it like this where people are like, but I grew up in a different time where some of this stuff was a little more acceptable at the time. And that's not right either. I'm just saying that I could get away with it because at that time there was a different, the world was a little bit different, and you didn't have people recording your every move or going back and trying to take your emails from 10 years ago and using them against you now. And I say all this to say that I am sorry personally for some of the things I've said and done in my life. And I could understand the thing of going, man, can you imagine if they pulled something I said 20 years ago and used it now to against me? Like, yeah, I mean, people can change. And again, maybe in your heart, you felt this way and and whatever. But I just think, I think he did the right thing. All this to say that I think John Gruden did the right thing by resigning. Because again, what else, you're going to take, what's coming next. Okay, let's be honest. It's coming. So you did the right thing. Whatever your true feelings are, I don't know, Mr. Gruden, because I don't know you. But I think you did the right thing by stepping down and saying, yeah, I don't want this to be a distraction to the team. This is all on me. I'm out. I got to go. And that's the way it should have been, and that's the way it happened. Because I'm sure there's more there, let's be honest. Because where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Mm-hmm. So most times anyways. And I think you have to accept that kind of responsibility and go, yeah, it's time to go. And whatever happens in the future to Mr. Gruden, hey, whatever. But again, I think it's important to note that, not all of us are blameless in this sort of thing. It's just, have you legit, change, come away to a different way of thinking or come around to whatever and change your attitude and like that. So I wanted to get that out there. And I just, again, I'll apologize again for anything I've said to offend anyone, even on here. Sometimes I talk off the cuff and I, say silly stuff to be funny and all that, but I certainly never honestly want to offend anyone or anything. I know that I am no better than anybody else. And I'm just a guy who's trying to live his life and have a little fun. So, I embrace everyone. And I hope you guys, again, I do apologize for myself. And again, going forward, I hope we can all, maybe learn a little lesson from this, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think it's saying what you're going off of you. Yeah, it's about personal growth, right? And I think something you said is key there too, is that you said, you made comments when you were immature and young. And I'm going to say we're all perfect, right? 10 years ago, Gruden wasn't a teenager.
No, true.
But you're right. It doesn't mean that he hasn't had growth since then, right? But I guess with the issue is we don't know what were in those emails. First of all, we actually don't know all the contents.
Right.
All we get are blurbs of, was in there was, homophobic slurs, misogynistic slurs, racial slurs, right? But we actually don't know what all of those emails have. But whatever was in there made him step down, right? Because he resigned before he decided to resign, right? Correct. He took that step. He's like, forget it. And because he was right, it's going to take away from the team. I don't know how the team is going to play from here on out. Hopefully with the assistant coach stepping in and, maybe it's a fresh start for them. Who knows? We've all said stuff we regret. Absolutely, no one's perfect, right? No, and it takes, personal growth to learn from what you used to think, right? Your way of thinking. Because I grew up really insulated, right? I only, like I've said before, I only grew up around Black and brown folk. That's all I was surrounded with. So right, I'm sure my thinking is a little different, that was just,
Sure.
And I'm sure that, and I also grew up in the inner city, right? Not in the suburbs, not in the country. And it also comes with its own kind of ideas of what the outside world is, right? I was lucky where I was able to go to college and start to expand my horizons. That's where I grew. That's when I started growing, is meeting other people and learning from other people and really diving into stuff that I didn't know about before, right? Mm-hmm. And so it does take a person to decide to grow and go, hey, and constantly, everyone has bias, by the way. And you could talk to Kat. Sure. She's a teacher. She knows. Everyone has biases. And as an educator, we are taught to always sit down and check your bias, right? Yeah. Reflect on yourself. What is this thinking? What were you thinking? Why were you thinking this way? I guess that's where I'm coming from. So as an educator, we're trained to inspect ourselves all the time and be introspective and think about the students in your class, the students around you, right? Your colleagues, what they might be thinking, right? To do that point of view, right? The different perspectives, and then put that together and grow from that and learn from that and make adjustments. And that's basically what it's about. It's personal growth and taking self-responsibilities and, mature yourself. Honestly, ignorance isn't bliss anymore. That for me is out the window with the fact that everybody has computers now. Right. Everyone knows now, has an idea now of what has changed, what is progress, and everyone has the ability to self-educate. And if you're not self-educating yourself, that's on you, to be honest. That's on you at this point. If you can't take those steps to self-educate yourself and work on your personal growth and talk to people and go to a professional like, hey, this is, help me grow as a person. Because if you can't do it on your own, there's tons of outlets out there that can help you grow as a person. And so that's all I'm going to say on that. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I don't know what it's going to go going forward. I do agree with David. There's a lot of hypocrisy involved in this whole thing too. Although he wasn't fired, right? He stepped down before he could be. And it would have made the NFL look worse, right?
They probably would have fired it right before they.
So it would have made them look more like hypocrites if it was the NFL firing. With the Dan Snyder, quickly, I think it's a lot harder to push out an owner unless because look how long it took. What's his name from the basketball player? Yeah, look how long it took to get Sterling out of there.
Yeah,
it literally took all the other owners. And the problem, obviously, as you know, in Washington, is that he bought out the other owners.
Right. He's the only guy who has the say in
so it's very difficult.
I mean, that's the only part I had. I agree with everything y'all are saying. The only part I had, the problem in those comments, because that's, Dave, I don't agree with that, because for you to say that nothing has happened to Washington, and you didn't say nothing's happened to the Redskins, because you can't say that. We start there. We start with everything that happened in the front office. We have a dance team. You ever been to an NFL football game, and there's a dance team and not cheerleaders into this because your owner is sending to other, you know what I mean? So listen, we've been torched, and the play is resembling a little bit of that, but so that's, yes, but I definitely agree. Hypocrisy is all over the league, absolutely all over it, and the owners, it starts with them and goes all the way down. And let's be honest, 10 years ago, Gruden was still that renowned, that famous, great guy. Everybody's hooting and hollering. He won the Super Bowl. Right. And what somebody mentioned, I saw someone on TV, he won with Tony Dungy's team. He just put a little bit of energy into that team. You know what I mean? That team was Tony Dungy's built that he took to a Super Bowl and played a team that he coached, so he already knew the other team. So you know what I mean? So let's not sit here and act like this guy's Vince Lombardi, So, but again, like you said, Nick, it's about growth. It's about, hey, what you said 10 years ago might not be who you are today. We all are growing and trying to get better. So I mean, hey, that's all we can do. That's all we can ask for. But as for him and he did what he needed to do. He stepped down. He tried to take attention off of the team, put more of himself off the team, let him get out of that. So, hey, let's that's where we're going to go with that. That's as far as we're going to go with that. Force it.